there's a different word that Dante knows he could have used for the Franciscan cincture, the belt that goes around the waist. I'm not entirely convinced by that. It's an argument worth considering. But a poet needing to have a certain number of syllables in a line, because Italian is very strict about structural questions like this, and maybe wanting to suggest multiple meanings, as we know he does, because he says that this poem is polysemous. It has literal meanings, and it has analogical meanings and symbolic meanings, and at least 3 or 4 meanings in places. This is very strange, and I think it's meant to be. There are certain endings of cantos. When we started out, we noticed there was a smooth transition from 9 to 10. Suddenly we're inside the gates of Dis. In the previous canto, we have Ser Brunetto taking off like a sprinter in this very colorful image of a man who wins the green cloth. And now here, we have this chord thrown into this abyss by Virgil, not by Dante, by Virgil. And he knows that something is going to come swimming up. And we don't have time to go any further tonight, but I think you'll be surprised. The last time I read the following canto, I got dizzy. It was like sort of going down in a strange funhouse, because you spin the Geryon as he flies in these circles so that Dante won't fall off. But you've got an interesting read facing you for next week, so it'll be quite exciting. We're near the end of our time, and we had to cover a lot of ground, unfortunately, and I had time out. But any comments, questions, queries? Go ahead if you have a comment.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed coming up, a lot of these people who are in hell seem to ask to be remembered. That comes up a lot. I don't know if that's related to fame or whatever. That's in this canto, it's in line 85, telling him when he goes back to Earth, see that you speak of us to others.
Yeah, and that may tap into the theme that we saw with Ser Brunetto, that and even with Farinata, because the people who don't believe or who have left the divine order, they're going to seek some other kind of immortality. Now, some of the souls, as we get further down, don't want to be remembered. They won't tell Dante what the name is, and there's a famous episode with Guido da Montefeltro where he says, I from what I hear, no one ever returns from these depths, so I'll tell you my story. It's a set of lines that T.S. Eliot uses at the beginning of his poem Prufrock, the song of J. Alfred Prufrock. But you're right. There's something about in this particular area, and maybe because it has to do with the city, that remembering people to other people who lived with them or families that they were connected to, it may be important to these souls. It's the one, I guess, consolation that they have.
Interestingly, they don't seem concerned. Like no one says, don't tell anyone you saw me here. Being remembered or being brought up in conversation seems to be more important than people finding out that you wound up going to hell.
There are a lot of Florentines here, and at one point Dante sort of sardonically says, "Oh, Florence, rejoice, since so many of your citizens are in hell."